So today is February 20th of 2024. As I'm filming this, it's like 8:50. Oh my god, it's my dog. That's my dog, Jojo. I've talked about him in previous videos. He's like a little rat, but he's my little rat. And he hates when I hold him too much, so I'm gonna not deal with that right now. Okay. Yeah, well, this is my sister's room because my room is too dirty and that's just not something I want to have on the internet forever and be reminded of how I can't function as a human being. So we're just gonna stay here, and she has a desk and I don't have a desk in my room because I'm not allowed to study in my room because I don't know, my parents just said so. And a lot has happened to me that I just want to think through verbally, because I've written it in my diary, but I just want to talk about it and I don't want to annoy anyone else because I have to keep the few friends that I have. Okay. It's actually a funny story because so basically I got a job and I had been looking for a job for years probably at this point, and every job I've applied to, I get that I was too young earlier, or like they had like food, like for food you need a certain age. I think it was 16 and I was like applying for the job at 15, but I just could never ever get a job. And finally I asked my friend who used to work at this job, so he was friends with the manager, if there was like a spot for me to like fill. And there was, because they opened up a new location. It's called Craft Burger. And I hope my boss doesn't see this. But like who's seeing this? And basically it was, the first 2 days were so bad. Like genuinely. And I've been so fortunate to not have to have a job, to not have to worry about like where I live, when I'm gonna eat, and like paying for a car or gas or anything. So I'm very fortunate in that way, where I just like, now I finally have a job, and I'm so unprepared. Which is to be expected, right? Like, I'm a minimum wage worker, so Craft Burger is like a burger place. It's like fast food, so it's not like you come in and you get seated. It's not a restaurant. I'm just like working as the cashier, etc. But it turns out that's not my only role. There's so much to this job. Like, I never knew how hard it is to be a cashier because there are so many different buttons, and where I work you can create any like version of any burger that you want, and so there's a lot of alterations to the original combos, which is pretty standard in any job, so I understand that. But what I didn't expect was all the little like nuanced things that come with like a fast food job. So there's like Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and they're all different applications with different needs and different like settings that you have to look over, and you have to constantly be on that. And then also they call in and they have an online ordering service, so I have to deal with that, as well as customers and cleaning and all the other like standard stuff that I expected. And like when I first walked into the job, I was like so excited. I was like imagining all the cute little like coworkers I would meet, because I was just excited to meet new people. I feel very shoved in a bubble, and I thought this was like a way for me to break out of this bubble and get to like meet new people who have different experiences. So I walked into my first day expecting like joy and fun, and it was so stressful. And just like it was so hectic. I think there was something going on that day, like especially it was like, you know, when you have like fundraisers at like fast food restaurants where a percentage goes to like your dance team or the booster club or something. Well, that was happening, and it was like for a local, I want to say temple. It was like a religious gathering of sorts. They were just like, it was just a bunch of like teenage boys, so they all ordered separately, and they all like and it was so much. And I was like, oh, like I guess they just didn't have time to train me, because I was just following this girl around, and my coworker, and she was like, oh, like this is your first time working, this is like they expect me to train you kind of deal. And I was like, yeah, like I was expecting her to like go through everything I needed to do, everything I needed to learn, all of my responsibilities, everything that I needed to keep track of. And that's not what happened. And I got yelled at a lot because I made a lot of mistakes. And I like kept messing up people's orders, and like the numbers that you have to give the people, and you're not supposed to give the people numbers if they're like a huge group, otherwise they're gonna get different food at different times. Sorry, it was just hard. I'm like choking up thinking about it. And that was all fine and good. Like the first day I was like, oh, like that's so fun. It's like there was like 2 other people helping me, and the chef there, he's very like competent, and he just like he can memorize anything. Like he's like, oh, she had this, like no, you're wrong. Like he used to work at like the Beverly Hills Hotel or something. And so that was fine. The first day I was just like I was like, oh, this will get better tomorrow they'll train me, because I had the shift the next day. And then the next day came, and no one was telling me anything. And so I was just trying to help out as best as I can. And like, because not only was that my first, like, well, at that point it was my second shift, but also my second shift ever on my first job, right? And so I was getting overwhelmed because they weren't telling me how to do anything. They would just tell me like, oh, do this. So like, for example, like we have a Coca-Cola freestyle machine, and there are a bunch of syrups, and so they were telling me like, oh, just fix the machine, like there's like something wrong with it, like none of the diet drinks were working. And I just didn't know how to do it. And so like, how am I supposed to do something I don't know how to do and you're not training me in? And the manager, it wasn't the chef, like she's like a couple years older than me, but she was like what do you think, like what do you, she was just being like kind of rude about everything, but not something that I can pinpoint, if you know what I'm saying. Like you just get like a vibe from something, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because I started convincing myself it was all in my head, like I'm the one who's at fault, I'm like not competent, I can't use common sense. And I was really building it up in my head. Well, that really shook a lot. I was really building it up in my head. And then it got to a point where I was like taking someone's order, and I didn't know there was a difference between fresh jalapenos and jarred jalapenos. And I was like looking at the buttons, and I couldn't find it. So I asked the lady that I was talking about, oh, like, are the jalapenos fresh? And so she like pointed to the screen, and she was like, what does it say? And there was one button for fresh jalapenos and one button for just normal jalapenos. Okay, like, what do you think? Like that kind of vibe. And so this is so funny, I just burst out crying. Like she left, and while she was saying that, I was like holding back tears, and then I just couldn't anymore, so I just started crying. And I'm checking this like family out, and the dad is like And the kids, like, they left. Like, it was bad, but it was funny. Like, now that I think about it, it was funny. But so I just started crying. And when the lady finally noticed, the manager, she was like, go take a break, like, it's fine. And that's the thing, like, with that kind of, you, like, I don't know if it was in my head or not. I don't know if, like, I'm the problem, basically. And so I was like, yeah, like, my grandma died and it's just all stressing me out. Oh yeah, she did, but that's a story for another time. And I was kind of like, this is my first job. I feel like I'm making more work for other people, and I don't know how to do anything because no one showed me it. And so then she started, like, teaching me stuff, like how to do the menu orders, and, like, you have to, like, put the sauce on the side. It's a lot, but, like, that part I expected. Like, okay, you tell me what to do, I'll do it. You tell me how to do it, like, that's not something someone would know. Like, it's like, oh, like, take out the garbage. I don't even know where the garbage bags are, and no one's telling me where they are. And so I went back home, and I was just, like, crying the entire time. When after I got home, because this job was stressing me out. I was like, so convinced that I was, like, a failure, basically, and, like, I'm not even good enough to work a fast food job, and, like, and my parents were like, you just have to deal with it. Like, this is a part of life. Like, you are gonna face managers who just won't tell you what to do. And I understand that part, but that was, like, so eye-opening in a way where it's like, oh my god, this is gonna be the rest of my life. The rest of my life is gonna look like that, where I have to work a 9 to 5. And by the way, I work, like, 6 hours. I don't get a break. I don't get, like, anything. I don't get free food or anything. And I just, like, I have to be busy the entire time, like, or at least look busy. But I was just, like, stressing for 6 hours straight. And so my sister's like, that's not normal. Like, you need to quit. Like, so my sister's telling me to quit. My parents are telling me not to quit. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what I think, because I don't ever know what I think. And I can't ever, like, decipher if they're valid. Because then I went and texted my friend who got hired at the same time as me. And he was like, oh, like, it's fine. No one expects you to be perfect on the first day. Like, this is stuff I know. Like, I just want to know if they're teaching you stuff or they forgot that I was, like, a first-time employee on that first day, and then, like, also the second day, because I was supposed to be trained on the first, because that's my thought process at that point. And so basically the funny part of the story is that I was literally crying mid-order, and I was trying to finish it. I was like, oh my god, please, like, I mean, what else do you want? Like, is there anything else? And I'm gonna think about that and laugh so hard in the future. And so basically, moral of the story is I work today. Oh, moral of the story is I don't like people who don't complain. Like, I'm an avid complainer, so if you're not complaining, that basically means that my feelings are valid, and you're wrong for that, because my feelings are valid. And you need to get with the program and complain with me. So if you ever have friends who complain, make sure that, like, you complain with them. Otherwise, you're wrong, and you're gonna lose a friend, which I wouldn't know that much about. Friends, I mean, not losing a friend. I mean, I guess I do know a lot about that. This is not time to be funny. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap this up and say I worked today, and they finally were telling me what to do, because it was slow, and I don't get paid enough for this. I get paid $13 an hour. And this is my training shift. Like, they're supposed to be training me. Okay, they did today. And the chef was working today, so as like my manager, so he was like actually telling me things and what I needed to do. But he's also like not a vibe that much, because he was like, you girls always, you girls, like anytime he was talking about like, oh, they're never cleaning, like I'm the one cleaning, and they're always just talking and like they're losers, basically, is what he was saying in restaurant speak. So don't get a job, because being paid minimum wage, not worth it. And I thought it'd be like fun, because like, oh, like I get to interact with like customers and like kids, but also, why does everyone here have an attitude? Like, just talk to me. I'm nice. And I don't get paid tip. Don't tip at Craft Burger, because it doesn't go to the servers. I'm learning a lot. Unless you tip in cash. Tip me in cash if you ever come to Craft Burger and you see me. Okay. Also, don't invalidate your own feelings, because I think I was valid in thinking that there's no way that everyone, like, they aren't giving me they were getting mad because I was incompetent, but they're not teaching me how to be competent in my job. And I had to open, oh, I forgot this whole part of the story. Okay, basically, really quickly, I was like, I already messed, after the second day, I had to open alone, so that was today. And when I found out, I messaged my boss, and I was like, oh, is there no one else working? Like, no one else to show me the ropes? I'm just gonna have to open alone. I just wanted to make sure, because it's my third shift, and you guys haven't told me anything, basically, in so many words. But she was like, that's a part of like a job. That's a part of working. And she was like, I hope your family stuff makes you feel. And then she did this emoji with the heart, like, eye. Oh my god. She's a mess. But also, I'm a mess, because it's fine now, and I was crying for no reason. But I'm a girl. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm a girl.